And broadcasting live here in Minneapolis, St. Paul from the studios of AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota, in the evenings on WCPT 820, Chicago's Progressive Talk, and in the nighttime hours on 1150 AM KKNW in Seattle. Welcome to the Matt McNeil Show. My name is Philip Anthony, and I will be filling in for Matt today. He'll be back tomorrow. I'm also here with the fantabulous Austin, who is a co-host on the Downright Upright show on AM 950, along with moi, Felipe. How you doing today, Austin?
I'm doing well. I think I'm muted, though.
Oh, okay. We don't want that.
Second.
Okay. Well, as she's fixing up her technical issues, we'll start with the show here. Perhaps Minneapolis St. Paul listeners know me as I have my own show. Again, it's called the Downright Upright Show with Philip Anthony, and it airs every Saturday at 5 Central and can be streamed on AM 950's Facebook page, am950radio.com, YouTube, and all major podcast platforms. My show is an LGBTQ progressive interview talk show, and my guests are movers and shakers in the LGBT community and the allied community as well. And of course, the first Saturday of every month, Austin, this is a special time. I feature what I call co-host show. And on each of those shows, my co-hosts, gotta get that S out, Austin and Matt and myself, we talk about current news and LGBT news and everything affecting our community. It's kind of like an LGBT version of The View, right? We just sit around and BS, And it's the first Saturday of every month. So I'm joined today by one of those co-hosts. Now I think she's unmuted, right? Are you, Austin?
I do unmute myself.
What I'm running into is it actually keeps saying the host is muting you. So I don't know.
Am I muting you?
I guess we'll see. We'll hopefully see.
Well, if Patrick can hear you, first of all, let me introduce Patrick.
Yes.
Today. Patrick, how are you, my friend?
Good afternoon, everybody.
So Austin can be heard, right? Patrick?
Yes.
Okay, you're good then,
Perfect.
Austin. We don't want you muted. Anyway, so how is everybody doing as far as today? Patrick, are you doing okay as far as the news is concerned? And we're going to be talking about Dolly Parton shortly because it's been a very sad time. But as far as the news is concerned, do you have a concern about something that's happening currently, Patrick?
I mean, if I gave you my list of concerns, we wouldn't have a show because we'd just be talking about my manifesto for 2 hours.
I hear that. I guess we just go into Dolly Parton. It's a sad day. I mean, I made on my social media. I was talking about Dolly. Incessantly because it just hit me in the heart, which is just unbelievable. She rose from humble beginnings to the greatest heights of American music and became one of the country's most philanthropic, unifying, and beloved stars. And she died Tuesday in her home in Nashville, and she was 80. And her publicist came out yesterday and said she was battling cancer. So that's the cause of death from what we're gleaning from what they said. But they didn't give the specific kind of cancer. But my thoughts and prayers go out to the Parton family, everyone related, her friends and family. I'm going to be reading some things about Dolly, but I want your thoughts on the passing of Dolly Parton, Austin.
Yeah, I mean, certainly this is the best way I think you can describe Dolly Parton and her legacy is, she was truly a national treasure. And we were talking about this in the car going over. I cried yesterday when I saw the news. And people that experience all that she experienced in her lifetime, can come out of that one of two ways. You can look at it and you can say, I had to go through this, and I don't think anybody else should, so I want to make the world a better place.
Or you can come out of it and you can say, I had to go through this so other people should have to suffer too. Dolly Parton was the type of person that came out of it and said, I want to make the world a better place in any way that I can. And live whether it be through her music, her philanthropy, her business acumen. She enabled so many other people to benefit through her generosity that it comes once in a lifetime.
Yeah. Patrick, did you want to say something about Dolly Parton?
Yeah, I mean, I would not admit to being the most knowledgeable about her music or career, but she was just such a wonderful human being by all accounts. And, when you lose somebody like that, we all lose something. And that's really hard to take, especially in, the world that we live in right now.
Yeah. Very well said. By the way, according to the news outlets have been talking about that, she wrote more than 3,000 songs. My goodness. Those included Coat of Many Colors, Quiet Ode to Her Mother, Stitched Together Garments, in the family's rural Tennessee home. She went to school. They would stitch together garments so she'd have clothes to go to school in. Imagine that. That's how poor they were. She wrote and performed songs of love and heartbreak as well, like Jolene, which was probably her signature song. Well, maybe 9 to 5. 9 to 5, the title track from the movie. And Dolly was in the movie. She starred in the movie. And it became an anthem for the American women working in the field, and secretarial or whatever.
Well, and for all, I mean, it's a working class anthem.
Anthem, yeah. Well, I think of secretaries because it's an office
and Dolly was in many ways
involved. I mean, it's a working class anthem.
I think of secretaries because... And then she did a duet with Barry Gibb wrote the duet she did with Kenny Rogers, Islands in the Stream. Number one. Crossed over into country and pop. Which was very hard to do back then. And of course, she sang my favorite song. I'm going to ask you what yours is in the moment, so I hope you come up with one. My favorite song, I came of age in the 70s, so I'm old. So I can talk about this. I love hearing it. So I can talk about this. I remember hearing it on the radio in the car. I remember hearing it on the radio in the car, going somewhere. The song was so pretty. And when I heard the video, and when I heard the video, social media, somebody had put it on, and I was watching the video, and tears were streaming down my face because of the memories and how beautiful she sang, and what a beautiful person she is. And we're going to talk about all the philanthropy, but I want to get to the music. What about you? What's your favorite Dolly Parton song?
It's hard to pick one, but if I had to, I'd probably say Eagle When She Flies. Like not officially from Steel Magnolias, but was used in the film.
Yeah, it was in the movie, right? It was, yes. And of course, you can't forget. Well, first of all, Here You Come Again. My favorite song was her first pop song that hit the Hot 100 and it peaked at number 3. So that was a big jump for her because she was on the country charts before that, all the time, but never crossed into pop. And when that song came out, she started her career in pop music, and that's where the ball started rolling. And then, of course, I Will Always Love You, which she made. I think she took it to number 1 2 times, and then, of course, Whitney Houston took it to number 1 on the pop charts. Do you remember the first time you heard that song?
It's a powerful song.
Yeah, it's a powerful song.
Very powerful.
And apparently she wrote the song when she was on the Porter Wagner show and she was leaving. When she was on the Porter Wagner show and she was leaving. This is the kind of person she is. This is the kind of person she is. On bad terms. She couldn't leave on bad terms, so she wrote a love song. Thank you for you. I wouldn't my career. Where I am. If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be where I am. So it shows you to him the kind of person that Dolly was, right? The kind of person.
Well, I think it also does that when Whitney won the Grammy for it, that Dolly presented it to her, and she basically said, "This is your song now. You've taken this away from me."
Yeah. She really, Whitney took it to the stratosphere. I remember hearing that, in the movie, and that's not a hit song. I don't know what it is, And then the philanthropy. We have to go into that because she's multidimensional. So Dolly dedicated decades to widespread philanthropy, funding childhood literacy, medical research, education, disaster relief. She launched the Dollywood Foundation program in 1995, Imagination Library, right? Which has gifted over 300, listen to this figure freaked me out, 300 million free books worldwide to children from birth to age 5. Austin. In the age of book banning, this is what Dolly did.
Yeah. And tributes have, obviously there have been, stories and anecdotes and tributes that have poured in from people in music and acting and elsewhere, but there have also been a lot of tributes that have poured in from other world leaders. I actually, just before we came, had seen one from First Minister John Swinney had said just about how Dolly's literacy programs have so benefited children in his country. It's remarkable. A lot of people, many people, even big time philanthropies, don't have that level of impact.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to read the telephone number because maybe there's people out there that want to, send their tribute out to Dolly on the radio here. The telephone number here is 952-946. 6205. That's 952-946-6205. And if you act now, no, just kidding. I always have to say that. Anyway, so we come back. We're gonna take a break in a few minutes, but I want to do a little bit more about Dolly's advocacy. That word is always my tongue-tied word. About vaccines.
Yeah.
She literally went on film with her mask on, with her arm out, getting a vaccine at a time when that would have been considered controversial. But she knew that the vaccine was very, very helpful to keep people from getting severe cases of COVID where they would, possibly pass away or get severely sick. So I hear music, so we're going to take a break. This is the Matt McNeil Show. My name is Philip Anthony. We'll be back after this break.
Greg Bakken here. I've told you about the out-of-the-world roast beef sandwiches at Maverick's Real Roast Beef, but I haven't told you about their Philly steak sandwiches, turkey bacon avocado sandwich, BLT, crispy chicken, fish sandwiches, brisket, or pulled pork. Okay, you get the idea. They make a lot of delicious food to the same standard as their famous roast beef sandwiches, and now I'm starving. I'm going to go to Maverick's Real Roast Beef off Lexington and Roseville, and you need to go too. Check out their menu at mavericksbeef.com.
When was the last time you had your roof inspected for extreme weather and hail damage? This is Chad, owner of AM 950, to talk about the exterior construction company I trust, Snap Construction. If you've noticed new roofing projects in your neighborhood, your home was likely hit by hail last summer and experienced damage. Snap Construction is helping homeowners like you, and they're the roofing specialists I trust. They are the most well-reviewed contractor in the Twin Cities and have a ton of positive customer reviews from homeowners just like you. Even better, Snap Construction's installations are backed by a lifetime warranty, so you know you're dealing with a qualified roofing expert. You want to work with a company that will be here for a long time after the work is done. Snap Construction has handled thousands of claims and will help you through the process. Do yourself a favor and get a free roofing inspection so you have the facts and peace of mind you deserve. Call Snap Construction today at 612-333-SNAP. That's 612-333-SNAP. Or visit snapconstruction.com.
At Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces, we believe that a working fire can bring comfort, warmth, and security to your life. At Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces, we have the know-how to make this work for you. Talk to us at the store or visit online. Share your photos and ideas. Discuss the choices, ask questions, and get an estimate. We also do free visits to your home. We gather all the details to ensure a smooth and safe installation.
Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces installed our wood stove years ago, and we still love it. Watching the fire, feeling the heat, it's a joy we experience every day. And knowing we have a reliable heat source makes us feel extra snug and safe.
At Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces, we display over 180 models in diverse styles, with over 35 of these burning so you can experience the glow and warmth of a live fire.
Whether wood, gas, or electric, find a fire that warms your heart, a fire that adds comfort and security to your life. Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces at the corner of East Franklin and Riverside Avenue in Minneapolis, and online at woodlandstoves.com.
Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces, out of the ordinary products and services since 1977.
Summer is going fast, but Next Chapter Booksellers has everything you need to keep up with your summer reading. From the hottest new titles to timeless classics, Next Chapter Booksellers has something for any taste. Their friendly staff are great at making recommendations for the perfect summer read for you or your loved ones. Plus, Next Chapter Booksellers has a wide variety of puzzles and games for those rainy days. So keep up with your summer reading at Next Chapter Booksellers off Snelling and Grand in St. Paul. More at nextchapterbooksellers.com.
And welcome back to the Matt McNeil Show. And again, we'd like to welcome AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota, WCPT 820, and 1150 AM KKNW in Seattle. And again, the telephone number is 952-946-6205. If you want to say something nice about Dolly Parton, an experience maybe that you had that she, brought into your life. And we have a caller. His name is Steve from Minneapolis. Hi, Steve.
Hello.
Hi, Steve.
So, hi. All the stuff I've been reading about this, the one thing that doesn't get much coverage that I really liked was the work she did with Linda Ronstadt and Emmylou Harris. I mean, talk about three heavyweights.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
The three-timers had nothing on those ladies.
Oh,
and
yeah.
on a kind of a silly note, she appeared in the TV show American Pickers.
Mm-hmm.
Because she needed something for a display at Dollywood, and she had them track it down for her. And the two ladies from the show delivered it, and they were all making jokes about bra sizes because they were all quite well endowed. It was hilarious.
Yeah. She had some wonderful self-deprecating humor that she, would make fun of herself all the time, Like there was a joke she said, I'm trying to remember it. Something about jugs, like I have jugs because I'm a juggernaut or something like that. I mean, some joke like that. What do you remember?
I was going to say it takes a lot of money to look this tacky.
Yeah.
Yeah. And don't let anybody tell you your hair's too big.
Yes. Anyway, and then her acrylic nails as she'd play the instrument on her nails. Hey, Steve, what's your favorite, before we end this call, what is your favorite song by Dolly?
Oh, that's tough.
I know.
It is.
I know. It's like saying, what's your favorite food? It's like 100 things,
Yeah.
But can you pick one really quick?
Well, I do like Jolene a lot. My wife is a singer, and we used to play that song.
Yeah.
In our band, and it's hard to beat that.
Yeah. And, well, thanks, Steve. Thanks for calling in.
Yeah.
We appreciate it. Jolene, that's a good point. He was talking about Jolene. Now, Jolene was a bank teller, apparently. This is a great story, right? She was a bank teller in a bank, and she was beautiful. And she used to flirt with Dolly's boyfriend or husband at the time. It was her husband at the time. Okay. And she knew that because she was so beautiful that there was a possibility that, she would try to take her man away from her. And that's where that song came from, right? I mean, that's incredible.
I mean, at least in my recollection of it, it wasn't so much that Dolly was legitimately worried about that happening, but just, it inspired the song certainly. And one of the things I love about Jolene as a song, and I think in some ways a song that you can read into with a little bit of a feminist narrative is she's not angry at Jolene. Like it's just a acknowledgement of this is a possibility and you're a beautiful woman. And so many times songs like that get create this woman on woman anger or divide. And I love that song never really did.
Yeah, but that's a great point, Austin. I love that you said that because that shows her personality, the kind of person she is. She didn't say, I'm going to kick your you know what because you're trying to take my man. She said, please, please don't take my man. She's pleading. It's just typical Dolly.
And there's vulnerability there that, it's just, it's a beautiful song.
Oh, yeah. 952-946-6205, 952-946-6205. If you want to talk about Dolly or anything else, we're going to be ending this segment soon about Dolly, and then we're going to go into politics. Well, there's so much on the horizon here. But I also wanted to get into pediatric care. That's also part of her philanthropy. She contributed millions to children's hospitals, including funding pediatric infectious disease research and supporting the Vanderbilt Hospital, where her niece was treated for leukemia. And she raised and donated millions for regional medical centers in East Tennessee, including LeConte Medical Center. And then, of course, education and scholarships. She gave a lot of money to that. Dropout prevention. That was important to her, that kids didn't leave school, And she created the Dollywood Foundation in 1988 in Sevier, I think it's pronounced, Tennessee, Sevier County, initially dropping local high school dropout rates from 35% to 6%. That's what Dolly did with her contributions through incentive programs like the Buddy Program. And she also contributed towards college scholarships and established annual $15,000 Dolly Parton scholarships alongside special grants for local students. And then, of course, you have to go into disaster relief. She gave so much money when it came
to time.
And her time. Yeah. Oh, yes. Wildfires and floods was a big issue for her. She established the quote, My People Fund, to give $1,000 monthly to families who lost homes in the 2016 Smoky Mountain fires, totaling $12.5 million in aid, and later contributed millions towards regional flood and hurricane relief, including Hurricane Helene efforts. Wow. Dolly.
And all of which was done, it wasn't about putting her name on things. It wasn't about building legacy. And it certainly wasn't about a tax incentive or a tax write-off. She did this because she cared about people and she knew what it was like firsthand to grow up in that community and recognized the issues that have plagued parts of Appalachia and elsewhere in the country. But, again, it came down to she endured it and she wanted to try and, plant trees she would never see.
Yeah. Well, again, I have to say it breaks my heart to think that she's no longer with us. But her legacy will never die. She touched so many lives, so many people in a positive way, and I get the chills when I think about her. So God rest her soul. And to the family and her friends, comfort. I pray for your comfort and keep her memory alive as much as you can. Play her music every day, folks. Right? Okay. Well, we're gonna transition into something else. This is unfortunate, but I want to. We're not gonna have that much time to talk about it in this segment, but we come back from the commercial. But we just had election day yesterday. And Darlene Graham, who was Miss Lindsay's sister, won the election 52.5% to 47.5% against Ralph Norman in that runoff election after she made that terrible gaffe that she didn't know anything about national security. I don't know how you feel about that. We're going to get your opinion after the commercial break because that's bizarre to me, right? Like you don't know anything about, you're going to be a sitting senator. Anyway.
You are a sitting senator.
Yeah, well, yes, exactly. And going to be as well. My name's Philip Anthony. This is the Matt McNeil Show. We shall return after this break.
The Tom Hartman Show. Now, that's Smart Radio, AM 950, KTNF, St. Louis Park, Minneapolis, St. Paul, the progressive voice of Minnesota.
Hey, it's Patrick for Zero Res. I know no one wants to talk about this, but summer is going to be winding down already, and we're all going to be rushing to make the most of the month before State Fair time arrives. While we're trying to cram in as much of that final summer fun as we can, don't forget to stop and smell the flowers. But if you realize what you actually smell is the carpet, you gotta call my cleaning heroes at Zero Res to freshen up the late summer feeling. Zero Res can take care of almost any surface in your home: carpet, tile, rugs, hardwood, upholstery, and much more. If it's been months since your last deep clean, it's time to call. Zero Res is marking the end of summer with this amazing sale. Buy 2 rooms of carpet cleaning and get 2 rooms of carpet for free, plus 20% off all air duct cleaning services. Call 952-ZERO-RES or go to ZeroResMinnesota.com and say you want the AM 950 special. Backward or forward spells the same. Zero Res.
Hey, everybody out there in AM 950 Radio Land. This is Paul Metza, host of the Wall of Power Radio Hour. We have a wonderful new show this weekend with a delightful chat with Steve Jenkins, who is the executive director of the Bob Dylan Center in Tulsa, Oklahoma. He's in town showing a few films from the Bob Dylan Center you've never seen before. We talk about the Bob Dylan Center, Bob Dylan, and more. Saturday at 6 p.m. on AM 950.
Hi, I'm Mary T. I'm a proud supporter of AM 950 because this station shares the values that I care about most: community, connection, and making a difference. Just like AM 950, I believe in using our energies, our resources, and our voices to lift up others. That's why I started the Mary T. Scholar Program at the University of Minnesota College of Education and Human Development, providing graduate students with internships internationally. For over the past 10 years, our students have served communities in Laos, Cambodia, Nepal, India, Cameroon, and Thailand, gaining experience and helping people in ways that really make a difference. Supporting AM 950 fosters conversation, awareness, and action in our communities. It's about shared values and believing that together we can make a difference. Visit MaryTinc.com to learn more about the work that we do.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Brett Johnson. Look for sunny skies today with a high near 81, tonight clear with a low around 60, and Thursday sunny with a high around 82. From bold Szechuan flavors to tender Peking Mandarin classics, the Great Wall Restaurant offers something for everyone. Try favorites like the Mushu pork and beef and broccoli. The Great Wall Restaurant is located at 4515 France Avenue, and their full menu is available at greatwallrestaurant.us. That's greatwallrestaurant.us.
AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota.
And welcome back. This is the Matt McNeil Show. My name is Philip Anthony. I will be sitting in for the fantabulous Matt McNeil today, and Matt will be back tomorrow. And I'm here with Austin, my co-host from the Downright Upright Show with Philip Anthony. And yeah, I didn't even talk about being fantabulous.
We didn't. Dolly was fantabulous.
But she was. She's the personification
of that word.
Word.
Absolutely.
I mean, yeah, that's a beautiful way to put it, Austin. Absolutely. If I can think of, if you had a picture in the dictionary next to fantabulous, which is fantastic and fabulous put together, twice as nice, by the way, it would be Dolly. Yes. Okay, so we left off at in the second segment, I guess it was, talking about Darlene Graham, the sister of Lindsey Graham, who passed away a few weeks ago. So you wanted to talk about her national security experience for the folks.
Well, or lack thereof. Right. So I don't know, maybe somebody in the spirit of Dolly Parton could buy Darlene Graham an elementary textbook on, the world. It's frustrating for so many reasons, and people keep talking about how, so last night she won the runoff primary
against Ralph Norman.
Against Ralph Norman. So she will be the person on the ballot. And, people are like, well, she's running for Senate. She's running for Senate. She is not just running for Senate. She currently sits in the United States Senate. And I get it. In her defense, the situation between China and Taiwan has had, U.S. has had an ambiguous policy for, as long as Darlene Graham has pretty much been alive. So I could see where that would maybe be news to her and she needs to, get up to speed on it. It's frustrating though, because we're hearing the spin that she's saying, voters in South Carolina, the people I represent, they don't care about this issue. This is not something that's, a dinner table conversation for them. And she's probably right in that aspect. It doesn't mean it doesn't impact their lives though. And so I would expect an elected official to have some knowledge on that subject.
By the way, can I interrupt you for 3 seconds? Is she actually sitting on the National Security Committee?
No.
Oh, they took her off.
I don't believe she's sitting on that, because that was an appointment that, Anyways,
I'm sorry.
Yeah. But beyond that, when it comes to, if she wants to say that they care more about affordability, that's probably true.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't mean this issue doesn't impact that, or it doesn't have a ripple effect toward it. And when she was asked what her plan would be on affordability, she said, "Why don't you ask me after I've been elected?" Ma'am, you currently sit in the U.S. Senate. And the biggest thing with all of this is the Republican Party, particularly the Trump wing of the Republican Party, they're spending a ton of money to back Darlene Graham. They've also made a ton of phone calls, put a lot of pressure on Republicans to get behind her. And I don't think that's because they legitimately prefer her better. I think it's because they recognize she is someone they can tell, this is how you will vote, and you will do these things the way we tell you to, rather than having an elected official that they might risk putting somebody in the Senate that, gasp, God forbid, say anything against Daddy Trump.
So she's like one of those dolls. You pull the string and she'll do it. She'll say what you want. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens. You never know. I mean, it's a really super red state, so I can't imagine her not winning that state, but crazier things have happened, Austin. You never know. Anyway, let's get into Canada now.
Oh,
by the way, before I go on, I'm the host of the Downright Upright Show, along with Austin, who is the co-host on that show on the first Saturday of every month. And on the Downright Upright Show, we do a lot of lightning round stuff. So we go from one issue to another, because we only have 1 hour a week to talk. So I'm bringing that into the Matt McNeil show.
We're breezing through them.
We're breezing through them. So if you're wondering why is he going from one thing to another, that's why, because we do that on the Downright Upright Show. And again, if you have a comment or a question, 952-946-6205. Okay, so Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney, he vowed dollar-for-dollar tariffs in response to Trump's 50% tariffs on $20 billion in Canadian goods. Trump's 50% tariffs were imposed on Canadian exports, including items like wine, clothing, furniture, cement, hockey sticks even, my goodness. After final-minute disagreements derailed a potential compromise. Carney said his reciprocal tariffs will take effect on September the 8th, very, very shortly, right? Carney will impose tariffs on steel, dairy, appliances, agricultural equipment, pulp, paper, electronics, and others. And Canada used to be our greatest ally, right? And in the world, pretty much, along with Great Britain and possibly Israel, if you want to take it down that road, until Trump came along. Now, why is Trump cowering to Kim Jong-un and Putin and all these, autocrats, but yet he gets very aggressive with people like Carney and the premier of Denmark and all the other allies. What say you about that? What do you think what gives him that idea that he could do that to the allies and cower and wear knee pads for dictators?
It's bizarre. It's harmful. It's harmful to a lot of people, to many states, including where we're at here in Minnesota, but also across the rest of the United States. There are a large number of states that Canada is the biggest place they export to. And, it's unfortunate because we don't need to be in this situation. It's 100% a fire that Donald Trump started. And seems to have no plan to put out. It changes day to day. And, you're already feeling it in a lot of ways, even going back from his first term where we had wood and steel tariffs, that if you have had to build a home, repair a home, maybe had storm damage or something, and you've got to go out and buy products to do that, you are already paying the price, and it's going to continue to become more problematic. Those products are going to continue to go up 100% because Donald Trump, I guess, feels the need to flex his muscles. And I don't know why he thinks Canada is the target he wants to pick on. It's almost like telling your best friend, hey, buddy, I'm going to make fun of you or say bad things about you while I run off and play with this kid who's obvious trouble. It's bizarre.
Yeah, he looks in the mirror and he sees himself in those people, I think. That's why, Austin. I mean, he wants so badly to be like Kim Jong-un, where they have these military parades and his face is all over the place. He's got statues built all over for him. Look what he's doing with the Kennedy Center. Now he's got his name is going to go back on the Kennedy Center. And they said if they don't put his name on there, he's going to knock it down. I mean, come on. I mean, folks, this doesn't sound like a normal presidency here. But I'm going to throw a trivia question out to you, Austin. We do this sometimes on the Downright Upright show. President Trump is giving serious consideration to a name change to a certain body of water. Do you know the answer to that one?
I do. Yeah. And I will just add, Debbie Dingle hit the nail on the head in responding to him. And I don't, if I'm stealing your thunder and you were going to go into this, stop me.
But you have all the thunder you want, my friend.
She wrote back and she said, maybe we should rename it Lake Natalie so that we know you'll finally start caring about and protecting our Great Lakes.
I can't. Well, the answer is Lake Ontario would become Lake America, right? And like he did with the Gulf of him. He has this thing about naming things. You notice?
Yeah, and they never take off. They never take off. He's the only one in the room calling it this.
I know. Well, I just want to tell you out there, folks, when you go to the grocery store or to buy any of those products I mentioned previously, they're going to be very expensive now. Not that anything is cheap now. I mean, everything is crazily expensive. I mean, beef now the thing about beef that I'm hearing about is that because beef is so expensive and the farmers are losing so much money. I don't know how this is going to help farmers if you import Argentine beef into the United States. It's going to hurt them even more, right?
One does not help them at all.
Exactly.
And two, completely undercuts the whole point of allegedly tariffs are going to help us because you've just admitted that this is why it's so expensive.
Yeah. Well, again, the telephone number here is 952-946-6205. And we're going to continue with the lightning round. Ta-da! So I wanted to hold this one back, but I'm going to ask you because I love your opinion, folks. Folks, I love Austin. She is incredible when it comes to politics.
You're too kind.
I'm the jack of all trades and master of none. She's just like this guru when it comes to politics. But so I'm going to ask her this and see what she thinks. Now, Democratic House Leader Hakeem Jeffries, you know what I'm going to say already, right? She's nodding. I love you so much. It's like you could read my mind. If you could read my... Anyway, met with Trump's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, in recent weeks. And CNBC confirmed this, so it's not hearsay. The timing of the meeting suggests people close to the president may be preparing for at least one chamber, hopefully both, flipping to Democratic control. In his statement, Jeffrey suggested Democrats may be open to working with Republicans if they win the majority, but only on the Democrats' terms. Now, was that a damaging thing to do, in your opinion, for him? Or was the statement that he said at the end of that, where he said, but it's going to be on our terms? What say you about that?
My concern with that is we've said a lot of things like that before when we've been in positions. And I'm using collective we. So Democratic leadership has been in positions before where they are clearly holding more power in the room and have made statements of a similar effect. And then in the end, we're like, you know what? Actually, we're just going to figure out and get a plan, and we're going to cave on all this stuff to get one or two little concessions. So there's concerns that Democratic leadership have burned kind of the party collectively as a whole before. It is telling that this meeting occurred, and there's been a lot of speculation about, and I think it's right in the sense of clearly they're reading the room. You're probably going to lose the House. There's a chance you're going to lose the Senate as well.
Mhm.
And I just want to add to that, and this is not something I've heard talked about, but after Trump's first term, Jared Kushner and Ivanka Trump really made grand strides to rehabilitate themselves in kind of the New York social scene and distance themselves from Trump's first term in office. And they were kind of like, well, that was him. We're our own thing. Accept us back. And there was scandal that they were largely accepted back by people kind of all ends of the political spectrum in, philanthropy circles and social circles. And I look at this meeting, and I'm just saying this as an outside observer. I also think that Jared Kushner might kind of be trying to make those same moves of like,
Oh, yeah.
how do I distance myself? And this all comes on the heels also of, he was in the Middle East. He was there for talks. He was saying things were going great. And Trump turned around and cut him right off under the knees and said, that's not happening. I don't know what you're talking about. So I think this is also personally a move for Kushner as well to try and position himself and his wife what comes next now that really Trump is losing influence. He's a lame duck president, and they're trying to hedge their bets for what's going to follow.
Now, this is my opinion. I would like to know yours. Do you think that that's going to put into question when and if, obviously we don't know what's going to happen, but it's leaning towards the Democrats regaining the House, right? Let's say they do regain the House, and now they have to elect. The caucus has to elect a speaker. Do you think that move that he made with Jared Kushner will affect some of the Democrats in the caucus to vote against him? Just asking for a friend.
I don't know. It potentially could. I also think there is a long time between now and when that occurs, and that would not occur until after the election. So there's that's a factor too.
Yeah. I just want to know what you think about that. I think there's a problem with that. Anyway, this is the Matt McNeil Show, and we'll be back.
August means the beginning of football season, and Popped Corn in Minnetonka has you ready to go with their flavor of the month, beer cheese pretzel popcorn. It's Popped Corn's delicious cheesy popcorn made with real cheese, salty good pretzel pieces, all covered in a beer cheese seasoning. The perfect snack for your pro and college preseason ramp-up. And get your Popped Corn popcorn in a tin featuring sports and military logos in either 1 or 3 gallon sizes. Visit Popped Corn store in Minnetonka or order online to ship their amazing popcorn across the USA. Go to poppedcorn.com. That's poppedcorn.com.
Hi, this is Frank Brown of Minuteman Press Uptown with a question for our listeners. How important are business values to you? When you need high-quality digital print, it matters who you work with. You see, Minuteman Uptown is unique. We're one of the only union print shops in Minnesota providing our team with living wages and benefits. We believe in second chances for justice-impacted individuals who want to contribute to the community. and we are active in local issues. We've been in the streets standing up for racial, social, and economic justice. At Minuteman Uptown, our mission is to connect all communities through technology-driven print solutions. An example of that mission is when I moved Minuteman Uptown to North Minneapolis. We're invested in this local community, and we help small businesses and local organizations throughout the Twin Cities reach their audiences. Reach out to Minuteman Uptown and partner with a printer that shares your values. Call us today at 612-870-0777 or visit us at mpuptown.com. That's mpuptown.com.
Summer is going fast, but Next Chapter Booksellers has everything you need to keep up with your summer reading. From the hottest new titles to timeless classics, Next Chapter Booksellers has something for any taste. Their friendly staff are great at making recommendations for the perfect summer read for you or your loved ones. Plus, Next Chapter Booksellers has a wide variety of puzzles and games for those rainy days. So keep up with your summer reading at Next Chapter Booksellers off Snelling and Grand in St. Paul. More at nextchapterbooksellers.com.
Stonewall Sports knows how to have fun. I am Suzanne Blum-Grundison, and I am lovingly referred to as the queen of special projects. Starting in 2016 as a small kickball league of around 150 players dedicated to queer sports, we've now grown into a thriving community of more than 3,500 active players across 7 sports. Thousands more have participated throughout the years. That's a decade of games played, friendships formed, chosen family found, community impact made, and countless unforgettable memories. The Stonewall Sports Twin Cities 10th Anniversary Gala is an opportunity on September 26th to celebrate everything Stonewall Sports Twin Cities has meant to so many people while we look ahead to the next 10 years of queer sports connection and joy. Taking place at the Minneapolis Institute of Arts, the gala dinner and dance party tickets close on September 1st, so register now before the ticket sales close or the event sells out. Go to stonewalltwincities.org and navigate to the 10th Anniversary Gala tab to buy your ticket. Join AM 950 and The Gailey Show at the Stonewall Sports Twin Cities Gala on Saturday, September 26th.
And welcome back to the Matt McNeil Show. My name is Philip Anthony. I am sitting in for the fantabulous Matt McNeil, and I'm here with my co-host from the Downright Upright Show, Austin. Miss Austin. Maybe I should give you a title. Queen Princess Austin? What do you think?
To make this short, when you sign up to go to the zoo here in the Twin Cities, they ask you if there's a title, like with your name, and there's like 25 options to choose from, including like Commodore and Ambassador and stuff. I'm like, how would they know? Would they check? Like, could I say I was a Commodore?
Yeah. I don't know. I'd rather be Duke or something. I don't want to be king. That sounds too pompous to me.
Anyway. Too much responsibility.
Yeah. Okay, so continuing with the lightning round, as I like to say, when we do the Downright Upright Show, we have a lightning round. And so former Secretary of Transportation, I have to bring up Mayor Pete, Pete Buttigieg, visited Orange. You heard this story too? Orangeburg, South Carolina last week as he weighs a second White House run, right? So on August 15th, the Democratic National Committee designated South Carolina as the first state, right, in the run-up to the nomination for president. While in South Carolina, Buttigieg held a roundtable with students at a historically Black college where he discussed his idea of reparations for slavery. During an evening speech to the storied NAACP branch there, he said, Trump's second term may feel all too familiar to activists who fought for civil rights in Orangeburg in the 1960s. Buttigieg's visit was also the first major visit by a potential 2028 candidate to the state since the DNC voted on August 15th to keep it as the location for the first presidential primary in the nation, a nod to the political power of its large Black electorate. So what do you say about Pete? Pete's very smart that he went there to try to, engage more with the Black community, because for some reason he's not gaining traction with that community. Do you think that was a good idea that he went there and to try to, offer reparations and talk about, African American issues?
I mean, I do think it's a good idea to
Step in the right direction.
Yeah, I do think it's a step in the right direction. Going there, having that discussion. It's unfortunate that reparations are not a topic that get talked about more. And so I do think that's a bold move on his part. I also think you can certainly interpret it as a test balloon for 2028. We'll wait and see where it goes. Because he's also, at sometimes I felt like, gives mixed messages about, is he running, is he not? So
I think he is personally, but I'm always wrong.
You are not always wrong. You are not always wrong. I think there's a lot of people looking at this saying this does seem like it's a step.
Yeah, there's
more
so
firm
many...
step in that direction.
Yeah, exactly. We have such a great bench. In the Democrats, we have a great bench. So it could be anybody at this point. So just stay tuned, folks, because once the midterm elections are over, November 3rd is the election, right? Then you're going to see everybody throwing their hat in the ring, and it's going to be an interesting run. So anyway, this is a call-in show as well. So if you want to call in, ask us a question, or you have something on your mind, if you still want to talk about Dolly, I'd love to hear that too. The telephone number is 952-946-6205, because it's all about Dolly with me.
Absolutely.
I will never forget that woman as long as I'm alive. Okay, so the next, again, lightning round, next topic. After a long 9-month deployment in the Middle East, the USS Abraham Lincoln is finally coming home, and I think that they're on their way home, actually, as we speak. There was limited food on the ship, no port call at all, right? And it sparked concerns about lack of sufficient supplies and low morale on the ship, right? The USS George Washington will relieve the crew. So what are your thoughts about what happened in that long period of time where that ship was out?
And I do want to be clear. I don't think they're on their way home yet. And you can correct me on that if I'm wrong. But it's my understanding. So about a week ago,
well, isn't the George Washington on its way, though?
George Washington's on its way, but it's going to take weeks for them to get there. We're talking about moving. They're pulling out. They've got miles and miles and miles of ocean to cross. It takes a long time for these ships to move.
Yeah, because it said the USS George Washington will relieve the crew. So I don't know if they're still there or they're on their way.
I think they're on their way. Like I think it's gonna, and I could be wrong on this, that it was gonna take like potentially 6 weeks.
Well, it has to go to San Diego. Isn't that the port where the ship is?
They have to get back to San Diego, but before they can even leave to get back to San Diego, the other ship has to get there, which takes weeks.
So you mean they're gonna play tag? Tag you're it, and then they leave. Oh,
yep.
Well, that's not. I guess it wasn't very clear from the reporting here.
Yeah, so. And again, I could be wrong on that, but that was my understanding. And it's it's heartbreaking, the stories that we're hearing come off of the Lincoln. Particularly,
somebody tried to jump off or did jump off, right?
More than one person did. And one of the more publicized events, the gentleman that did, there was a new baby at home. He was having vision problems, and he works on a flight deck. That's not safe for anybody. And it just goes to show how ill prepared not only was this deployment, but furthermore, the lack of disregard for the lives that are impacted by it, and clearly not understanding at all what it involves. I mean, they didn't understand feeding these people. They didn't understand the mental health concerns. And, they all want to talk about war and being tough. And, we're going to test people for testosterone, but we can't get a guy that works on a flight deck an eye exam when he needs to see to do his job. That tells me you do not care about our troops and that you do not understand the concept of war, because if they did, they'd know that issues like morale and disease and starvation have claimed far more lives throughout history than testosterone. It's really sad.
It is very sad. Well, we have just limited time here. I just want to say that I want to thank all the people in Chicago and Heartland Signal at WCPT 820. Love you, love you, love you. And 1150 AM KK and W in Seattle. We love them as well. And thank you for accepting me in place of Matt McNeil. We love you guys, and I'll probably be doing this again, I hope. I'm enjoying this. Anyway, we'll see you on the other side, hour 2 with Minneapolis St. Paul.
Too often, political news focuses on what's happening in Washington, D.C. But from redistricting to reproductive rights, what matters most to your life happens at the state level. And when no one's closely watching the state, bad stuff happens. That's why Heartland Signal offers Radio Free America, a free weekly newsletter from me, Aaron Kleinman. Sign up at heartlandsignal.com/newsletter. I spent 7 years helping the most successful state-level political group navigate elections across the country. Now I want to help you understand what's going on in your state. And I'll also have some funny stuff in there too, like Weird Al on Howard Stern. Because, let's face it, we could all use a laugh. So sign up for our free newsletter, Radio Free America. We never share or sell your email address, and you can unsubscribe at any time. Sign up now at heartlandsignal.com/newsletter.
Come on, you know it's true. Work is almost bearable when the Stephanie Miller Show is on. AM 950 KTNF, St. Louis Park, Minneapolis, St. Paul, the progressive voice of Minnesota.
AP News, I'm Ben Thomas. The U.S. economy grew at a sluggish 1.5% pace from April through June. The Commerce Department report shows GDP slowed from a 2.1% annual pace in the year's first quarter. Meanwhile, we also got a fresh read on inflation. Sagar Magani has it.
The government says consumer prices rose 3.7% in July compared with a year ago, the same as in June. Inflation remains higher since the Iran war started, when it was 2.9%, and remains notably above the Federal Reserve's 2% target. Gas and other energy prices fell sharply last month, but have been rebounding this month, which is likely to boost the next inflation report. Stubbornly high prices will likely be a key midterm election issue, and President Trump is also threatening new tariffs on Canada and China. Sagar Magani, Washington.
On Wall Street, stocks held relatively steady. The Dow dropped 113 points, while the S&P and the Nasdaq each dipped less than 0.1%. Oil prices continue to swing, but Brent crude settled lower, below $87 per barrel. As for pump prices, AAA says the national average for regular grade gasoline has ticked just above $4.10 per gallon. Meta's reached an $18 billion settlement in a landmark trial over teen social media addiction. Donna Warder has more.
Meta was sued in 2023, states claiming it contributed to the youth mental health crisis by deliberately designing features that get children addicted to its platforms while hiding those features from the public, and that it was routinely collecting data on children under 13 without parents' consent. Among other safety features, the tech giant has agreed to a hard cap on daily time limits and pauses for children. I'm Donna Warder.
And the federal government's declared a drought disaster for more than 24 cities and towns in Puerto Rico. This is AP News.
Progressive knows you want to get away, but not like too away. You crave the unknown, but also charcuterie boards with 4 types of cheese. And that's exactly why you bought an RV and bundled it with Progressive, because 24/7 protection is one luxury you'll never have to give up. So go ahead, explore the wilderness, all from the comfort of your zero-gravity camp chair. Switch to Progressive and protect your RV, boat, or motorcycle by bundling with your home or auto insurance. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and third-party insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
While retinitis pigmentosa takes Mark's vision, his family gives him hope, whether at the family business or at home with his wife and sons. He knows he's not fighting alone. For 50 years, the Foundation Fighting Blindness has funded research into treatments and cures for blinding retinal diseases, providing hope to people with vision loss. And for Mark, winning the fight means being there for his family. The Foundation Fighting Blindness. Together, we're winning. Help us end blinding diseases.
There are husbands who say they'll fix things someday, and then there's my husband, Jim. Jim Schuster actually gets things done. He's a licensed contractor helping homeowners with repairs, kitchen and bathroom remodels, electrical fixtures, ceiling fans, minor plumbing, weatherproofing, irrigation repairs, fences, retaining walls, and home safety improvements. I'm lucky to have him, and I'm happy to share him with you. Borrow my handy husband today. Visit handyhusbandforhire.net or call 612-563-2158.
Stonewall Sports knows how to have fun. I am Suzanne Blum-Grendison, and I am lovingly referred to as the Queen of Special Projects. Starting in 2016 as a small kickball league of around 150 players dedicated to queer sports, we've now grown into a thriving community of more than 3,500 active players across 7 sports. Thousands more have participated throughout the years. That's a decade of games played, friendships formed, chosen family found, community impact made, and countless unforgettable memories. The Stonewall Sports Twin Cities 10th Anniversary Gala is an opportunity on September 26th to celebrate everything Stonewall Sports Twin Cities has meant to so many people while we look ahead to the next 10 years of queer sports connection and joy. Taking place at the Minneapolis Institute of Arts, the gala dinner and dance party tickets close on September 1st, so register now before the ticket sales close or the event sells out. Go to stonewalltwincities.org and navigate to the 10th Anniversary Gala tab to buy your ticket. Join AM 950 and The Gailey Show at the Stonewall Sports Twin Cities Gala on Saturday, September 26th.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Brett Johnson. Look for sunny skies today with a high near 81, tonight clear with a low around 60, and Thursday sunny with a high around 82. From bold Szechuan flavors to tender Peking Mandarin classics, the Great Wall Restaurant offers something for everyone. Try favorites like the Mushu pork and beef and broccoli. The Great Wall Restaurant is located at 4515 France Avenue, and their full menu is available at greatwallrestaurant.us. That's greatwallrestaurant.us.
Portions of the following program may be pre-recorded.
And welcome back to the Matt McNeil Show. My name is Philip Anthony. I am subbing for the fantabulous Matt McNeil, and I'm here with my co-host from the Downright Upright Show with Philip Anthony, Austin. And so we just got this clip, Austin, interesting, from the Minnesota Truth Council. And I really want to play this clip because it's really important. It's from Imam Youssef Abdullah, and he's talking about how the Somali community has become a target. So I'm going to ask my producer, Patrick, to play it for the folks out there.
These dehumanization words and basically were followed by attacks on the Somali community, especially in the social media, and where every Somali became a target. I'm sorry. Then that was followed by the ice surge. All the warning signs were there, starting with these words, dehumanization words, followed by more of that, followed by rage, mostly on the social media. The time that we heard the word Somalis are garbage, we were having our General Assembly in Bloomington, where many imams, over 30 imams, directors, faith leaders, came from 16 states, where we have, each state, we have at least a center or more than a center, talking about our community issues. And then we heard that word. A few days after, these
Is that it, Patrick? Okay. Wow. He barely get through that, huh? Austin?
Yeah. For those listening that aren't aware, today they're hearing testimony from people impacted by the ice surge that occurred here in Minnesota. And I do just want to add, you can go online and also submit your own story, your own recounting of what happened. This is not a court, but it is a process of documenting. And he's right. You know, the targeting that we have seen, the animosity that's been leveled at the Somali community, among many other communities here in Minnesota.
But do you want to name the person who said? I mean, we have a congressman, who said they're garbage, and they need to. I mean, I thought we were a community of all people created, all God's children, and this man is just demonizing I mean, it's awful. And they do the same thing with Ilhan Omar. They are doing it with El Sayed in Michigan. I mean, it's an anti-Islam diatribe, if you ask me.
It's an othering. It's an othering.
Othering, yeah.
And we've seen it lobbied at people just walking down the street. There were 2 young women that were verbally attacked and harassed after buying a house in Shakopee that occurred recently here in the Twin Cities. Oh my God, it's just heartbreaking. It's absolutely it's horrific, but I at the same time, I'm so glad that we are taking the time to process and document all of this that's occurred, because it is important. It may not have a political impact today. It may not have a legal impact today. But what's the quote from Tim Walz? We're recording this.
Yes.
We're going to document it because it will someday potentially have those impacts.
Yes. And I want you all to know that the Alex Preddy's family finally were interviewed about his death. They haven't heard a blessed thing. Nobody is taking responsibility. There's nothing. It's like a news blackout. Their child was murdered in the street in front of everybody, on camera, in front of people in the street, and they haven't heard a blessed thing from our government. And it's disgusting. I'm sorry. And look, folks, we're all a community here in Minnesota, in the Twin Cities area. No matter what you are, I'm in the LGBTQ community, so is Austin. Our Somali brothers and sisters, African Americans, Latinos, we're
the Hmong community.
The Hmong community. Thank you. We finally have a mayor that represents that community in St. Paul. So we are we're not a white sheet, folks. We are a patchwork quilt. And until people learn that in this country, we'll never have peace, Austin. It's awful.
And I do just want to throw out there too, this issue, I recognize people like the Operation Metro Surge, yes, is no longer, that has died down. But this issue has not gone away at all.
Yeah, and we don't know if they'll come back.
And we don't know if it's going to come back. And last month was the biggest month of ICE arrests nationwide.
Oh, yeah.
So it is ramping up. They're just more subtle, more careful about how they do it.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Okay. Telephone number here is 952-946-6205. 952-946-6205. I got the chills listening to that. That was so...
I'm...
I
brought a tear to my eye.
I'm speechless. I feel so much for this Somali community and the way they're being othered right now, and let's just stick together as Minnesotans, Stop the othering, okay? Anyway, let's move on to the next subject here we were going to talk about. This we were going to talk about this on the break. We mentioned we were going to talk about it, that President Trump was asked if he's a better president or a better builder. Austin, take a guess what he said.
I don't want to ruin your joke.
No, it's not a joke.
It's so good.
He answered that. He said, I'll read the quote. I think I know the answer to that. He was elected as a builder.
And I'm shocked he picked one, because it seems like he would be like both, obviously, but...
No, he said builder.
It's just... My spouse said to me the other day that they think it would behoove us as a nation to move him to some kind of care facility and allow him to think he's hosting like a home renovation show, and that would scratch his itch for all he wants to do, and then nobody else or buildings or historical sites need to get harmed.
Give him a primetime show on Bravo or something, Get him out of the White House. Anyway, all right, so now we're going to go into, because this is the second hour of the show, we tend to gravitate towards Minnesota issues. So I want to talk about the extradition of Christian Castro from Texas. So Texas Governor Greg Abbott is arguing that ICE agent Christian Castro may not qualify as a fugitive under law, as his office resists Minnesota officials' attempt to extradite Castro to Hennepin County to face assault charges. This is according to the Star Tribune here in Minnesota, which is our paper. It characterizes Abbott as, quote, harboring a criminal fugitive. Imagine another state harbor. I mean, we're living in crazy times, Austin. I've never heard of this in my life. Usually, they're supposed to be the party of, law and order. What say you? I don't even know what to say.
Yeah, so the short story here, there was an arrest warrant issued for this agent. This stems from he shot and injured a man here in Minnesota during Operation Metro Surge. He claimed that it was in self-defense after being attacked with a shovel. Evidence, including video evidence, came out later that shows that didn't happen. It's not even up for dispute. What he claims happened absolutely did not happen. And so a warrant was issued for his arrest to come here to Minnesota and stand trial for what occurred. He was given time to turn himself in. He didn't. He was apprehended down in Brownsville, Texas. And in Texas, state law mandates there's only a set amount of time that they can hold him awaiting extradition. Governor Abbott is refusing to sign the extradition.
Yeah.
And so Minnesota sued. Just the other night, they had that potentially the Department of Justice at the federal level might be seeking charges against this man as well. I'm a little dubious on that. I'm concerned that they're going to come in and say we're going to do this so that he gets released to federal custody and then they just release him. Obviously, that's just my interpretation of not trusting our federal Department of Justice right now. But this is unprecedented. It doesn't happen. Issues of extradition are not political, but Texas is politicizing this. And Greg Abbott has said the reason he doesn't want to sign this extradition order is because he feels Minnesota owes the world an apology for fraud. That is nothing to do with this situation whatsoever.
No, it's two different issues.
Mm-hmm.
But I digress. We're going to go on to the one big, beautiful bill, and it's driving up. We got to go to all these issues. I want the folks out there to know that we're on the ball here. We're going to bring up everything that's going on. So the one big, beautiful bill, as it's called, which I have another name for it, which I can't say on the air, is driving up Minnesota property taxes. Now, you would think a lot of people say, see, no, it's helping a minute. No, it's not. And it says here, county officials say fiscal impacts from the federal legislation signed into law last year are among the larger drivers of an increase in the property tax levy for 2027. Now, I think that's because funding for states, especially blue states, right? Austin, he doesn't like the blue states, is decreasing. So what say you about that?
Yeah, so the one big beautiful bill, that monstrosity of legislation,
yes.
it impacts the way that the federal government, it cuts reimbursements to states for things that we have a mandate to essentially provide.
Mm-hmm.
And here in Minnesota, where you've got counties that are administering, the state and then counties are administering things like SNAP and Medicaid, you run into these funding gaps because there's a mandate to provide it, but the funding that was supposed to be there is gone. So there's no reimbursement coming. So that money's got to come from somewhere. And it's not coming from the federal government anymore, which means, guess what? Your property taxes are going up.
Yeah.
So, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to say that we have a phone call from
excellent.
someone. Wow. His name's Dave, and he's from St. Louis Park. Love St. Louis Park. Hello, Dave.
Hi, Philip. Hey, great to have you be on the line with you here. I just wanted to call about Dolly Parton.
Okay.
Back in the early 90s, I was working in the concert circuit, and I actually got to meet Dolly Parton. She's a lovely lady.
Oh, wow. Can you share a little bit of your interaction?
Well, I was part of a setup crew, and we've been working very hard, and we were pretty worn out. It's been a long month, and she came down to the stage for her sound check, and she told all of the guys in the crew that we could go and hit the craft table in the back where
I love her.
People were. And she actually came back and sat down and had a conversation with us and asking us how we were doing and where we were from, and we all shared some food, and it was great.
Oh, wow. Dave, I want to thank you for this call because we were talking about some really dark stuff. And whenever you bring up Dolly, you just put a smile on my face. She just lights up a room, and she's an amazing human being. Thank you so much for sharing your story, Dave. Really appreciate that.
Yeah, you're welcome. She also gave the green light for, because her production company, Sand Dollar, they put Buffy the Vampire Slayer on. So if you're a fan of that show, you can tip your cap to Dolly for making sure that happens. So.
Yeah, I think Austin is a fan of. Are you a Buffy fan? I think you mentioned to me you're a Buffy fan.
Yes.
Yeah. I was a Charmed fan. I loved that was my my little passageway into science fiction. But anyway, thank you so much.
A lot of people don't know that she had a production company that put on a lot of different things. So it was because I got to meet people who were in that business as well too. So.
Well, Dave, thank you so much again for the call. We appreciate it. We're going to go on to now. We got to go back to politics. Okay. Again, 952-946-6205. Oh, we're going to take a break now. I'm sorry. We're coming up on the 4:20 hour. My name's Philip Anthony. This is the Matt McNeil Show here at AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota. We shall return shortly.
Back to school season is here, and Popped Corn in Minnetonka has the perfect lunchbox stuffer and after-school snack. Get your kids their favorite flavors of Popped Corn popcorn, like cheese made with real cheese, caramel, buttery, Southwest hot wings, and dill pickle. They have over 80 flavors, so no matter if you're craving sweet or salty, they have a flavor for you. And take Popped Corn popcorn with you to your favorite fall sporting events. Stop by their store on Shady Oak Road in Minnetonka, or order and ship nationwide on their website, poppedcorn.com. This fall, start your school year deliciously with Popped Corn.
Hey, it's Patrick for Zero Res. I know no one wants to talk about this, but summer is going to be winding down already, and we're all going to be rushing to make the most of the month before State Fair time arrives. While we're trying to cram in as much of that final summer fun as we can, don't forget to stop and smell the flowers. But if you realize what you actually smell is the carpet, you gotta call my cleaning heroes at Zero Res to freshen up the late summer feeling. Zero Res can take care of almost any surface in your home: carpet, tile, rugs, hardwood, upholstery, and much more. If it's been months since your last deep clean, it's time to call. Zero Res is marking the end of summer with this amazing sale. Buy 2 rooms of carpet cleaning and get 2 rooms of carpet for free, plus 20% off all air duct cleaning services. Call 952-ZERO-RES or go to ZeroResMinnesota.com and say you want the AM 950 special. Backward or forward spells the same. Zero Res.
Hi, I'm Mary T. Caring for others runs deep in my family. My grandmother, Rosa, was a nurse who cared for people in their homes more than a century ago. Inspired by her compassion, my mother, Margaret, and I founded the Mary T. family of companies nearly 50 years ago. Today, we continue that legacy across Minnesota, Wisconsin, Maryland, and Arizona, providing senior living, assisted living with memory care, home health, hospice care, rental housing, and support for people with disabilities. Each service is personal, creative, and focuses on the unique needs of those we serve. We also believe in joy and community, which is why we opened Crooner Supper Club in Fridley, a place to celebrate life with music, laughter, and connection. At Mary T., we're proud to be a Minnesota family company rooted in compassion, inclusion, and respect, and proud supporters of AM 950 and the values that this station represents. Visit MaryTinc.com to learn more.
Congratulations to Mary T, named one of the most admired CEOs of 2026 by the Minneapolis-St. Paul Business Journal.
Would you let animals pick your insurance? Do you really need to experience mayhem to get the best rates? Or how about a celebrity quarterback or fake university saving you money? There's a lot of marketing stunts when it comes to insurance, but what you really need is someone looking out for you. Call Array Insurance, and they will work hard to find you the best insurance coverage and rates. So avoid gimmicks and call Cheryl at Array, 763-504-3067, or arrayinsurance.com. Array Insurance, working hard for you.
And welcome back to the Matt McNeil Show. My name is Philip Anthony. I have a show here on AM 950 called The Downright Upright Show with Philip Anthony, and it's a fantabulous show. Isn't it, Austin?
It is. It is.
It really is. We have fun. Yeah, every first Saturday of the month, we have a Downright Upright Show, co-host show. And I'm also here, of course, with my fabulous producer, Patrick. And so I want to. Hi, Patrick.
Good afternoon.
And we're going to talk about. I just wanted to add this in to what you said before, Austin, because it's an interesting figure. Newly released federal data shows ICE made 49,571 arrests nationwide in July alone, just July, okay? A 15% jump from June and a 70% increase from February. At the same time, the Minnesota Reformer, which is a newspaper here, a local newspaper, reports that immigration enforcement in Minnesota specifically has returned to pre-Operation Metro surge levels. According to data from the Deportation Data Project, newly released federal data shows ICE made 49,571 arrests nationwide in July. So that's an increase. So when people say, "Oh, it's over," and I don't know.
They're just sneakier.
Yeah, this new guy, this what's his name, Holman.
Mm-hmm.
He's sneakier than Christie. The
Bovino.
The dog killer. What?
And Bovino.
And Bovino. Bovino. Oh God, there was okay. You brought that up. Now you're gonna get it. You're gonna get it.
Lay it on me.
I'm gonna lay it on you because I saw this video. Do you ever watch The Good Liars? They're a YouTube page. I love them.
Sorry.
Love them. They are funny. They're two guys and they interview people at Trump rallies. And Greg Bovino was at one of them, and the interviewer dips almost halfway down to talk to him. Bends down. Hello, what's your name? And it was so obvious he was being demeaning to him, but it was funny. It's visual. I shouldn't have done it because it's visual, but anyway, go see it, folks. Anyway, so I want to talk about. Austin wants to talk about this, and I think it's important. Now, there's license plate readers cameras, basically what they are. They're called flock cameras. That's the name now that they're giving to them. And they're sparking a nationwide dispute, mostly here in the state of Minnesota, I would say. The fight over automated license plate reader cameras is escalating. A dispute has emerged between St. Paul City Council president and the Ramsey County sheriff. Separately, cameras have been vandalized across the state, including in St. Cloud and Duluth, and are under increased public scrutiny after reports that federal immigration authorities used camera data. Listen to this. This is craziness. During Operation Metro Surge, they used the camera data. According to the Pioneer Press, and now WCCO reports, the debate may now be moving to the Capitol. And I also heard, do you know those cameras that people have on their they're I think Apple makes them. They're on your doorbell.
There's a number of companies that make doorbell cameras.
But the big famous one,
Ring is
yes,
one of the biggest ones.
People, they were using those.
Mm-hmm.
They were telling people, we need to see your Ring camera.
Mm-hmm.
What? Austin, pick it up.
It's frightening, and there have been quite a number of cities here in Minnesota, as well as other cities across the nation, that are voting to remove flock cameras now from their jurisdictions. They don't want to participate in that any longer, and it's in part coming out that through Freedom of Information requests and lawsuits and other things, investigations. What we're running into is both law enforcement officials as well as employees at Flock are using these cameras in ways that they're not supposed to be used.
They're supposed to be used to see if you're speeding through a light or something, right?
Or tracking,
running a light, yeah.
Or surveilling people. And what they're finding is these Flock cameras are increasingly getting used by, you've got law enforcement stalking their ex-wives. You've got Flock.
Really?
Yep.
There
have been several arrests recently involving that one just over in Wisconsin.
Is that legal?
No, they're not supposed to. You've got people that are using these Flock cameras to watch swimming pools and workout spaces and children's spaces where children congregate for hours and hours and hours on end. And the thing with Flock is it's not just that they're surveilling, it's that this data is retained. So you and I, everybody that drives anywhere where Flock is available or walks anywhere Flock's available, you're being surveilled and that's staying. And there's no warrant for this surveillance. People can use it to track your movements. We already know because there have been people arrested or are under investigation right now for using that for nefarious purposes. And at the end of the day, it's surveillance without any type of warrant. And these are also often deployed in places where, you have majority minority communities, or you have low income communities that communities that it's like they're targeting people for the wrong reasons. There's profiling that gets thrown into this. It's extremely problematic, and I there are valid reasons people don't want these done in this way, shape, or form without some type of better oversight.
Yeah, and Minnesota's largest law enforcement association has just endorsed Michelle Tafoya for U.S. Senate. I think it's because she's for those cameras, because why else, right? I mean,
I don't know for certain. I mean, I'm not shocked
guessing.
They did.
I wouldn't be shocked.
I'm not shocked they did. But this has caused real harm to people too. I mean, there was a family, a woman and her young children, that Flock made a data error entry and the police never checked it. They were looking for a stolen motorcycle in a different state, and they pulled over this woman and her kids in their minivan and cuffed them and forced them to lay on the ground for over an hour in a parking lot before they sorted out, oops, actually we were looking for a motorcycle in a different state.
Yeah. Well, I the reason I said, I mean, she never said that she is for Flock cameras, just to be clear here. I didn't, I'm not saying that. But why, when you're telling me all of these things that police are doing with these cameras, why doesn't she say something about it? If it's illegal and it shouldn't be done.
Well,
I don't hear her saying anything.
now it's legal. I mean, communities have these, but
no, it's legal for the license plate to track the license plates.
To track license plates, but there's a lot of,
not for your girlfriend.
That's a nefarious purpose. But there's people that say, it's no problem to be tracking people's movements and surveilling them and retaining that data. And I personally, and I think there are many other folks that would say, yikes, you don't have a warrant to track my movements and retain that data. You shouldn't be doing that without a warrant.
Well, speaking of nut jobs, let's talk about Mike Lindell.
The nuttiest nut job of all.
Yeah, the MyPillow guy, as we like to fondly call him. By the way, is MyPillow still around though, right?
It is.
It is. You could still buy a MyPillow?
You can.
Oh, okay. I'm not saying anything
I
else.
Wouldn't recommend it.
But no, well, yeah, I didn't say anything, folks. Don't hate me. Don't hate the messenger here. So anyway, let's go back to voter integrity, because Mike Lindell keeps saying that every election that doesn't go the way he wants it to go is quote unquote stolen, rigged, it's fake, whatever, right? So he's withholding, listen, this is craziness, I can't believe it, $825,000 in recount funds, alleging an unlawful, this is quote unquote, unlawful bait and switch by state officials over recount terms. Okay. And while the Secretary of State, Steve Simon's office, says the plan mirrors past recounts, the Supreme Court cleared the way for Trump's executive order restricting mail-in voting with implementation timelines before November, and it's still uncertain. So we don't even know if there's going to be a mail-in voting, because this is an issue that he doesn't like mail-in voting, even though he did it himself recently. He said, and they asked him, well, you voted by mail, Mr. President, and he goes, yeah, because I'm the president.
Yeah.
Well, if it's safe for you, it's probably safe for everybody else. Anyway, go ahead.
I was just going to say, so for those that don't know, Mike Lindell demanded a recount. There's a way to do that. If you demand, if there's certain circumstances met, they do a recount automatically. That's not met here. I mean, Mike Lindell lost by double digits, but he's demanding this recount, and the state says, yeah, we'll happily do one for you, but you got to pay for that.
Yeah.
And that's when suddenly it became a problem. And he's like, well, they're not doing the recount the way I want them to. I would encourage anybody, if you want a great laugh, there's a quick clip of Mike Lindell was asked by Esme Murphy, like, so where are you getting the money to pay for this recount? Do you have the money to pay for this recount? Because he's had a lot of financial issues and a longstanding litigation where he's saying, I don't have any money. They're asking for all this money I don't have. So where are you getting this, almost $1 million to pay for this recount? He blew up. He was so triggered by that question. I think the reason he's saying I'm withholding this money and I don't want to pay for it is he never had the money to ask for it in the first place, and now he's got an excuse to wiggle out of that.
Yeah. But doesn't it sound familiar though? Because the last time he said the very same thing, that the election was stolen.
Mm-hmm.
He had all this paper and he made YouTube videos, but there's been no hard evidence of anything he's saying that the election was stolen. I mean, he could say like certain states changed, because of COVID, they changed a lot of regulations and rules. Yeah, you could say that, but that doesn't mean that the election was stolen. It just means you changed regulations and rules.
Exactly.
But I digress. So we're going to take a break again because it's almost time. And when we come back, we're going to talk about Jake Lang. He was arrested on riot charges after Minneapolis City Hall, an incident at Minneapolis City Hall. And again, it's 952-946-6205 if you want to call us. We'll be back after this break.
Love doesn't automatically equal legal protection. Legal documents do. Even with marriage equality, your family may not be protected the way that you think. Who gets your kids if something happens? Will the hospital recognize your partner? And if they can't be there, is your best friend your healthcare backup? That all needs to be in writing. At Schroman Law, we're an all-women firm that sees, honors, and builds bulletproof protection around your family. SchromanLaw.com. That's SCHROMEN law.com.
Greg Bakken here. Like you, I love good, fresh, delicious food. So I want to tell you about this treasure in Roseville called Maverick's Real Roast Beef. Maverick's has the best roast beef sandwiches I've ever had. Made fresh every order. Add fries or onion rings dropped in the fryer when ordered, and you have a winning combination. Maverick's Real Roast Beef has a lot more than roast beef, so check out their website, mavericksbeef.com, or check out their restaurant on Lexington in Roseville.
Hey, it's Patrick for Zero Res. I know no one wants to talk about this, but summer is going to be winding down already, and we're all going to be rushing to make the most of the month before State Fair time arrives. While we're trying to cram in as much of that final summer fun as we can, don't forget to stop and smell the flowers. But if you realize what you actually smell is the carpet, you gotta call my cleaning heroes at Zero Res to freshen up the late summer feeling. Zero Res can take care of almost any surface in your home: carpet, tile, rugs, hardwood, upholstery, and much more. If it's been months since your last deep clean, it's time to call. Zero Res is marking the end of summer with this amazing sale. Buy 2 rooms of carpet cleaning and get 2 rooms of carpet for free, plus 20% off all air duct cleaning services. Call 952-ZERO-RES or go to ZeroResMinnesota.com and say you want the AM 950 special. Backward or forward spells the same. Zero Res.
Minnesota summers are the best. We get outdoors and enjoy the sun and fire up the barbecues. This is Chad, owner of AM 950, to tell you about the exterior construction company that I trust, Snap Construction. As great as Minnesota summers are, they also bring extreme weather, storms, and hail. Late last summer, we were hit with a string of severe weather, including hailstorms. Those storms damaged roofs across the metro. Most storm damage goes missed by the untrained eye. A lot of homeowners didn't get their roofs inspected for damage and could potentially be facing much larger issues down the road. Please take my advice and call the roofing specialist I trust, Snap Construction, to schedule a free roofing inspection. If your roof was damaged, they will work with you and your insurance company to fix it quickly and efficiently. Call Snap Construction today at 612-333-SNAP. That's 612-333-SNAP, or visit snapconstruction.com.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lilia. Tonight, clear with a low of 60, then Thursday, sunshine with a high of 82. The Great Wall has been your home for Chinese favorites since 1981. Don't miss the sesame chicken, mushu pork with Chinese pancakes, or Peking duck. Stop in at the restaurant on France Avenue and 45th Street along the Minneapolis Edina City line, or check them out at greatwallrestaurant.us.
You're listening to AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota.
Okay, welcome back to the Matt McNeil Show. My name is Philip Anthony, and I am going to be your host for the next less than a half hour.
We're getting down there.
Getting down to the nitty-gritty. Yes, and as you know, I'm the host of the Downright Upright Show here on AM 950, and the beautiful person sitting across from me is one of my co-hosts on the Downright Upright Show. So don't miss the show the first Saturday of the month, because you'll get to see Austin and Matt.
Matt.
I miss Matt.
Yes.
Hi, Matt. If you're out there listening, Matt, hello. Okay, so we left the audience hanging on that commercial break about Jake Lang.
Yes.
I want to talk about this. But again, I'm going to give that number out, 952-946-6205, 952-946-6205. So far-right activist Jake Lang. Yeah, Jake Lang, yeah. And others arrived near Minneapolis City Hall in two vehicles at approximately 11:50 a.m. on past Saturday. According to Minneapolis police, both vehicles drove onto the sidewalk in front of in front of City Hall towards a crowd.
Into a crowd.
It says toward a crowd here. This is what news outlet is this? The AP again. Officers of City Hall towards a crowd gathered there. Officers moved in, tracked both vehicles after they left, and with assistance from the Minnesota State Patrol, stopped one near Washington Avenue and 35W. Bloomington PD stopped the second near Lindau Lane and IKEA Way. That's kind of like near the Mall of America. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Lang and all occupants were arrested on probable cause riot. Both vehicles were impounded. Additional arrests were made near City Hall. The Hennepin County Jail booking photos for Lang and Jaden Scott, identified as far-right activists, were published. The news outlet Bring Me the News, never heard that outlet, Bring Me the News, you ever heard of it?
Mm-hmm.
Which had a reporter on the ground, described the event as a quote-unquote hate rally that turned chaotic.
Yeah, Jake Lang is a far-right activist. He's previously was convicted for violently assaulting police officers on January 6th and served 4 years in prison. Since that time, he goes around the country. He's come a number of times to Minnesota to host these hate rallies. He was here with some gentlemen from Michigan. That's the other thing, too. A lot of the people he brings to these, usually his rallies, the counter-protesters are far larger than his little posse of boys that he brings from out of state.
I've seen that, yeah.
And so over the weekend, they drove at a crowd with these racist signs. And there again, I think it was him and like 6 other people. And then this big counter protest of people saying, hey, we don't want you here. Love your neighbor. Everybody's welcome.
Yeah.
And after they drove into the crowd, things got tense. Some people jumped onto the vehicles. There were some people from counter protesters and some people with Jake Lang that kind of both, they think, sprayed each other with pepper spray. I do want to be clear. All of the felony charges against Jake Lang have been dropped. They are not pursuing them. He was released. He's not being charged with any of those.
Are you talking Minnesota or federal?
Minnesota.
Oh, Minnesota.
So, yep, for driving into that crowd, he's not facing any felony charges. The macing, pepper spraying people, they're not facing any felony charges. One of the individuals that did jump onto his vehicle and was hitting it is facing felony charges, which I think is interesting. But they said that authorities here in Minnesota said they don't feel that they're not condoning his actions, but they don't feel they have enough evidence, enough of a case to go forward. Which is disappointing because it's scary. It's very scary.
Yeah, but Austin, I mean, you have to read this. I mean, I've seen some of the signs he holds, and I can't even say the words that he has on those signs, the N word and calling people. I mean, I don't even want to say because it's disgusting. Because we were talking about Dolly Parton before. We uplifted. This is the total diametrically opposite side of what you should be as a person.
The messaging he espouses is just, it's
Disgusting.
atrocious. It's disgusting.
It's
Yeah.
disgusting. And I think the counter protesters, they should, be there and just drown him out. Don't go near the guy if you can help it, because I think he kind of lives on the retaliation.
Oh, he absolutely
loves that
does.
retaliation.
He does.
Like when we go to, you and I go to pride events, you and I, right? And
Yeah.
we see people calling us all these kind of names, every name in the book against the LGBTQ plus community. They're craving you to do something because they have the camera going, and if you do something, that they could sue you or get you. That's what they live for. They're just there to upset people, and don't let them get under your skin. Just go out there and protest and drown them out if you can. Right, Austin?
And I want to be really clear. Most people that were there, that's absolutely what they did. And I think he came in a vehicle this time because the last time he dared to do this, there were counter protesters that yelled at him and followed him after he left his own little hate rally that got disrupted and was very tiny. And there were people that were yelling at him and following him and saying, hey, this isn't welcome here. We don't want your kind of hate. And he was very scaredy cat, ran to his car. So I think he came in a car this time because he can't take the heat.
Yeah. Well, I think they picked Minnesota because they see, especially the Twin Cities, because they see how we coalesce around each other. Look what happened during the ICE incursions. Everybody got together, looked out for each other, looked out for their neighbor. Look, we lost Alex Preddy and Renee Good because of that. All they did was observe. All they did was counter protest. All they did was make sure that nobody was being abused. They took their cameras out. You know what I'm saying, Austin? But they come here because they know they don't like to see, kumbaya. They want chaos.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to not buy into their game.
Well, allegedly what brought him here this time was that woman down in Rochester who was charged for shouting racial epithets at a young boy because I think he took an applesauce from her stroller or something like that. So allegedly that's why he came here, was to support this, other awful human. But it should be noted, Jake Lang is facing charges in numerous states. This is just, a personal speculation. I want to know who's bankrolling him because he doesn't care about being arrested. He quickly gets bailed out. He goes somewhere else to do a lot of this same shenanigans. Keep in mind, I think he's facing some pretty serious charges in Texas, of all places. And if I understand it, he's actually not allowed in the state of Texas except for court proceedings right now, which is kind of wild to think about.
Yeah, Patrick, I have a question for you. Because I'm not very, I have to plead ignorance here. I am not a follower of Jake Lang. I don't watch his videos. I don't know anything about him. All I know, he's a vile human being. I mean, to come to a peaceful city like the Twin Cities and cause a ruckus, to me, it shows your true colors. But Patrick, my question, do you think he does this for his social media because he sees that people, the whole idea about social media is to get eyeballs, get people to buy into your, subscribe to your channel and do all this stuff. And the more violence they see, people, it's like, when you see a car accident, you see all the people surrounding that car accident because they it's exciting and, oh, wow, look what happened, So what do you think about that idea, Patrick? Think he's doing it for that reason?
Oh, I'm sure it's as much about the theatrics. He wants to, and I'm not saying that it's fake. I think he is a genuinely awful, hateful human being. But I think he sees an opportunity to do it in a theatrical way, much like the Donald Trump administration does.
That's true. Yes.
There's a celebrity that comes from it.
Yeah. And again, when people, unfortunately, in this country, we find it interesting to watch chaos instead of harmony. Harmony doesn't pay the bills, I guess, in this country. So, yeah. Unfortunately, we have a lot of people who are agitators, and he's not the only one. I mean, there's plenty I can name, but we have another 10 minutes of the show. I can't go into everybody. Not enough time. But I want to start this last subject here, and at the end of the show, maybe we could uplift a little bit, because this is my last, hurrah here on Matt McNeil's show for, until he gives me the opportunity again, But I want to talk about what happened in Detroit Lakes, Minnesota. According to the Valley News, there's going to be an emotional an emotional school board meeting there, and it ended in a 3-3 tie when it came to non-school materials, because they were introducing the rainbow flag and stickers and flags and posters, and some teachers have used it to show their support for the LGBT students in the school, and backpacks, lockers, classroom doors, and other things. Supporters say the rule is meant to keep schools viewpoint neutral, so they didn't want to introduce any LGBT stuff. So when we come back from the break, Austin, I want to talk about that, because I don't see how, because I'm a typical gay man who I grew up in a Catholic home, never ever saw anything gay and became gay. So a flag is not going to do it, folks. I'm just letting you know. Anyway, this is the Matt McNeil Show here on AM 950. We'll be back on the other side of the break.
Children's Theater Company presents Pinocchio. Step into a world where dreams spark to life, every choice shapes a destiny, and one little puppet dreams big. Follow Pinocchio on his unforgettable journey to become real, joined by beloved friends Geppetto, Cricket, and the Good Fairy. Experience a story you know and love brought to life with music, magic, and imagination. Pinocchio opens September 8th. Visit childrenstheater.org for more information and tickets.
Your time is precious. Why are you still mowing your own lawn? I'm Alex Knorr, a young, hard-working entrepreneur serving the Southwest Metro with affordable lawn care. At Buzzcut Mowing, I offer weekly mowing, leaf cleanups, aeration, dethatching, tree trimming, and mulch installation. I work hard so you can relax and enjoy time with family and friends. Call today and I'll handle the rest. Visit buzzcutmowingmn.com. That's buzzcutmowingmn.com.
Stonewall Sports knows how to have fun. I am Suzanne Blum-Grandison, and I am lovingly referred to as the queen of special projects. Starting in 2016 as a small kickball league of around 150 players dedicated to queer sports, we've now grown into a thriving community of more than 3,500 active players across 7 sports. Thousands more have participated throughout the years. That's a decade of games played, friendships formed, chosen family found, community impact made, and countless unforgettable memories. The Stonewall Sports Twin Cities 10th Anniversary Gala is an opportunity on September 26th to celebrate everything Stonewall Sports Twin Cities has meant to so many people while we look ahead to the next 10 years of queer sports connection and joy. Taking place at the Minneapolis Institute of Arts, the gala dinner and dance party tickets close on September 1st, so register now before the ticket sales close or the event sells out. Go to stonewalltwincities.org and navigate to the 10th Anniversary Gala tab to buy your ticket. Join AM 950 and the Gala Show at the Stonewall Sports Twin Cities Gala on Saturday, September 26th.
Summer is going fast, but Next Chapter Booksellers has everything you need to keep up with your summer reading. From the hottest new titles to timeless classics, Next Chapter Booksellers has something for any taste. Their friendly staff are great at making recommendations for the perfect summer read for you or your loved ones. Plus, Next Chapter Booksellers has a wide variety of puzzles and games for those rainy days. So keep up with your summer reading at Next Chapter Booksellers off Snelling and Grand in St. Paul. More at nextchapterbooksellers.com.
If something happened to you tonight, who has your kids? It's not a comfortable question, but it's the most important one you may ever answer. Without an estate plan, a judge, a stranger, decides their future. At Schroman Law, we're an all-women firm protecting families that look like yours. Guardianship, trusts, peace of mind. Your children, your rules, legally. SchromanLaw.com. That's SCHROMEN law.com.
And welcome back to the Matt McNeil Show. My name is Philip Anthony. I am here subbing for Matt, and I'm also here with Austin. Now, we left off before the commercial about that school board meeting in Detroit Lakes. People, supporters of this ban on pride stuff, paraphernalia, say that they want to keep the school, quote unquote, viewpoint neutral on politics and social issues. And opponents say, people like us, it singles out the LGBTQ students and strips away basic signals of safety and acceptance, which makes sense because, I've always been told, when people see my pride flag in front of my house, they say, "Oh, this is a safe space. I can come to this house and feel welcome because I have that flag." That's all it means. It doesn't turn you gay, for God's sakes. I mean, if anything, like I said before the break, I was raised Catholic. I went to church and all these things. I was told that it's a sin to be gay and all this stuff my whole life. And look at me. I mean, I turned out the way I was meant to be. I mean, and I have to go back to Dolly again. When Dolly said that the reason she loves LGBTQ plus people is because they are their true, authentic selves, like I am. Because they would make fun of her, because of her boobs, and she was very sparkly, and she did all this stuff that was way out there, back in the day, like Liberace, and she said, and they can relate to me, and I relate to them, Austin. And so this thing with Detroit Lakes, I mean, they really think that this is going to. Is this political to have a flag or stickers in your classroom? I don't get it.
Yeah, and so this ban's actually already been in place for a year plus. It specifically calls out rainbow stickers, flags, paraphernalia, anything that you would, buy, put up somewhere, whatever, is prohibited on school grounds. And sometimes you see school districts do this where they actually prohibit anything that's not the school logo. They don't want anything. So it's like a blanket ban on, hey, if you're going to wear a t-shirt, it can't have a logo or something like that. And it's any type of logo. But this ban is different in that it specifically bans the pride flag. And so this school board meeting that happened recently was people wanted this ban overturned. And there are more than 100 people that were at that school board meeting, most of whom were asking them, the majority of the audience said, we want this ban overturned. And it was a split 3-3 decision to postpone discussing that or making a policy change. And so it failed and the ban remains in place. But the thing that I think of when I'm looking at this, and I'm not a lawyer, but it reminds me of, I feel like this is unconstitutional, and in similar bans have been struck down elsewhere based on what's known as the Tinker test. So back during the Vietnam War, you had students in Des Moines area schools in Iowa that were wearing black armbands. It went all the way up to the Supreme Court, and they said, hey, you can't prohibit these kids from wearing black armbands to school. They're allowed to do that under First Amendment rights. I don't think this ban passed the Tinker test, but we'll wait and see.
Yeah, we'll wait and see. I mean, it says it was approved 4-2, so we'll see. But I just want to, for the last minute that we have left here, I just want to thank Matt McNeil for entrusting Austin and I to host his show, because his show is so amazing. He's so enlightening. And I just feel I'm humbled by the whole experience. And I'm thanking everyone out there who just let me speak today and let me say my piece, because I really feel what we're doing here at AM 950 is really important work. And the Stonewall Sports Anniversary Gala is coming up, folks. And keep listening to those commercials. See if you support the organization, support Out Front Minnesota. And anyway, I just want to say thank you. And on behalf of Matt, bye. Matt, I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.